We have visual on approach now. Run full surface scan as soon as you have range.
Range in 3, 2, 1. Running full scans. Scans show no life, no traffic. My God, even the cities are gone.
That is impossible. Run the scans again. An extinction event would have registered a bigger signature. There's Ulysses. Come in, Ulysses. This is Gideon, over.
Reading you loud and clear, Gideon. What the hell are we looking at down there?
Hard to say, but it doesn't look good.
Sir, the scans is back and final reading confirms no life, no ocean reflectivity, no cities, no structure. This is an extinction event, Captain.
My God, that's 10 billion souls. Visual suggests it's ash-covered, but no volcanic activity was mentioned in the report, and there is no debris field. Confirm last contact timestamp.
Request to investigate came 72 hours ago, Captain. Report said planet went dark, no warning.
Do you have space defense on board, Gideon?
We do. I'll arrange a team to head down there and check it out. This is Captain Sebastian Halbert. Will Commander Sullivan please report to the briefing room on level 6 immediately? That's Commander Sullivan to report to the briefing room on level 6 immediately. Thank you.
Okay, this is 8, a sci-fi idea I had, the number 8, not I-8 something, or an alien 8 something, just the number 8. It's, I've been doing just opening sequences to get a feel for how the models work and how to put that sort of thing together. And I'm not a big fan of sci-fi, funnily enough, but it's an idea I've had for a long while, and sci-fi lends itself to the story that I want to tell, and so it's been interesting, since I'm not a big fan of it, to have to try to do it. And I'm definitely going to go with people from the era I'm in now, but in space. So I'm not sci-fiing all the fancy clothing or fancy anything too much, other than obviously there's spaceships, but I kind of thought that's how I want to approach it and tackle it, and yeah. But I'll just talk through the sequences of what I went for and what problems I found. I'm doing this exclusively in LTX, and I did this during the month of February, a couple of weeks, a bit more. And LTX version 2. So there's additional challenges, but if you've seen the previous video I made it during January, which was Great Southern Land, you'll see I've fixed a lot of the issues. There's still some there, but they're better handled, and that's purely from all the devs working on the workflows in the open source world. Helped to kind of raise the bar on what we could do. And then of course after this, in March, early March or the end of February, LTX 2.3 came out. So the next video, halfway through I was making that, so I think it must have been early March. But yeah, so this was exclusively done with LTX 2. Let me just talk you through it. One of the biggest problems I had was all this. We have. I'll just keep the headphones on so I can hear the volume if I overload it. This was really difficult to get planets, and I used Z-Image for the image baseline with Quen. And I had to spend quite a bit of time fixing or getting decent results out of my image workflow, and I did in the end, and I'll share that. It's not on the website right now, but I'll share it maybe before I launch the video even. But the Quen, Z-Image, I've found a 2-sampler workflow was better than a 1-sampler workflow and could get really nice crisp results like you see once we get to the, you know, this was the one I worked on to get Z-Image improving, because I was able to get this spaceship and I liked the look of it, but I couldn't get decent detail, and in the end I worked with Z-Image and found the 2-sampler method, solved it. What I couldn't solve very easily was a dusty, smoke-covered planet. I just get weird things, and I guess it's not trained on much else other than some NASA shots, and it also kept trying to give me Earth, which I didn't really want. But in the end, I think I used WAN possibly to fix it in the end, and I kind of got there. But then the other limit I hit was length of the shot. But actually what I've done in here is I've cheated a bit. I think the first shot I did at 120 frames, but it took like hours, so I didn't do that again. And instead I found in DaVinci there's this option, if you slow everything down, which I did like quite considerably, probably by 25%, then you can set something called optical flow. Even in the free version of DaVinci Resolve, optical flow with best enhancement or enhancement best, and it will interpolate, and it does it really quickly and really well. So yeah, I've been using that. And also there's loads of comfy UI. I share workflows from ages old with Rife or GIM that you can use interpolate as up to whatever you want, and you can do it fairly easy. I just don't, because I work at 24 frames per second. There's a load of reasons why I will be sticking to that religiously forever. Go look up impact on audience when they try to go to 60 frames per second for cinema, if that interests you. Anyway, so I eventually got this kind of smoky look working. I wasn't 100% happy with it, but I have to give, I worked to a formula of time plus energy equals quality, and time is the most valuable commodity of all. And I tend to give myself 3 or 4 goes to do a thing. If it doesn't work, park it, move on. It's the only way to get stuff done. The other thing I'm really forcing myself to do is make content in 2026. So yeah, it's quite hard to keep doing it. And I've been trying to do dialogue and I still haven't got back to it. So, you know, you have to force yourself to get away from the research, because there's endless research. Anyway, so I kind of got this smoky planet, and then you see it does this jump here, color jump, which I could address some of this in post in DaVinci. I haven't done any colorization or anything else other than the interpolation in DaVinci. Same for the last one. On the next video, the Sapphires, the vampire video, I do a lot of coloration because it starts to be more important to see it as we're getting closer to be able to making final product. Now it's currently 22nd of March 2026, and we're getting close to be able to make things good. I have to do a bit more research into dialogue, and then actually make some dialogue. But we're getting closer. But it's just a lot of work, and a lot of time is spent editing images in the old school way outside of Comfy UI to get the first frame, last frame. But anyway, enough of that. So I got this working, and one advantage it gave me was using the dialogue over all the beginning, and that quite worked. And I use Vibe Voice, and I use multi-speaker Vibe Voice, the Enemy X one. It's all shared on my website if you want the downloads from that. Unfortunately, I think he's stopped working on the coding of it, but it still works very well. But you have to watch out for installing you have to dial back the version of Transformers at the moment. I had a problem when I rebuilt Comfy UI, but I'm getting into spurious detail you don't need to know about. But yeah, Vibe Voice, multi-speaker is very good because it actually makes them seem like they're talking to each other. So, which is one of the major problems with AI still, even at the subscription level, is human interaction that looks real. It's not very good at it. I'm not sure if it's when it's going to get better. I think it's going to take beast computers to achieve it, but again, I'll talk about it more another time. This was a very interesting shot to have to make, and I've talked about it in the video on Quen and Critter, because I took this shot, had to get outside the window looking back 180 degrees, which used to be a huge challenge, and now is actually quite easy-ish, but you have to do a lot of doctoring. And as you can see, I had people here and people here, and you can see where I've messed with it in Critter. I fixed all this up, stuck his head in, chopped his head off, and made it look. I didn't actually want him looking at the camera, and so I darkened him to make your eyes go to this guy because he's slightly brighter. You know, you have to start learning all these tricks. And this worked really well. This, like the quality, even this was with the LTX2, and that is what my character looks like. So I was quite pleased with him. I got there quite quickly, but. And then also you'll notice with this, the sound of his voice.
This is Captain Sebastian Halbert. Will Commander Sullivan please report to the brief?
You know, all that delay and reverb and mucking about with it, trying to get that sound that you know, you might not even notice as just the average viewer, but one of the black arts that people are going to start coming across quite soon is sound. Because it's a hugely impacting aspect that no one really understands just how big it is. If you get the wrong sound, everything will fall apart. If you get the right sound, no one will even notice it. And by sound, I mean the ambient space, like that echo, it tells you things. There's information your brain will take on unconsciously about who he is, where he is, all sorts of stuff like that. So the classic adage, show don't tell, which I first heard from Max Perkins, who was Ernest Hemingway's agent, or whatever you call it, book publisher. First heard it from him, and it's valid for this, because you really want to try and find ways to use subtle sound, light, colour, visual information to inform the viewer without actually what is it called, exposition, so without actually having them tell the viewer. So yeah, I'll try and do that as much as possible, and it's quite an interesting exercise. Sound and light are huge information buckets, if you will. Anyway, this shot was all right. Again, I was using Z image to try to get it working. I don't know why this guy was sat around like that, and he kept changing into a woman and blah, blah, blah. These are the things you challenge. And trying to get 5 people all looking the same in the next shot, good luck with that. Yeah, so we have to find workarounds for things. This always feels, it's grandstanding, isn't it? Like, oh my God, he actually thinks he's a filmmaker. What a wanker. Like, I feel the same doing it. But you have to, I'm learning timing, and I'm learning all these things from doing this. So it's fantastic. And, another thing I spent probably about an hour on was going through fonts, and I was like, oh, that's not right. That's not right. And then the next day, oh no, actually that didn't work at all. But I love this one, and I'm not telling you what it is. Yeah. Chinzel or something weird. I don't know if it's spacey sci-fi, but also I don't care. This one, right, so we've got you. I've got another, the Ulysses, SS Ulysses, and I was kind of trying to work out how to put that in as well, and then it got confusing and I stripped it all out. So a lot of stuff is editing, and I'm I mean, I'd learnt this already, but not editing, because I've not edited anything really other than porn, and I always seem to mention that. But yeah, that's a different world. But yeah, oh god, we got all this, haven't we? Yeah, so and I'm onto these shots, and honestly, I stole these from online somewhere. Someone had done some dreamboat chill out music for relaxation. I went, you stole it, I'm stealing it. So I nicked their image and then had to put this cloud planet. So you can see this is the original cloud planet. I haven't changed it to the new improved cloud planet because I couldn't be asked and I ran out of time. And just normal people. I mean, I don't know where his shoes are. I'd make that regulation. But just normal people, they just happen to be in space. Normal people from now, even though I've set this in, you know, 2,400 or something, 2447, a random number. But yeah, so people in a kind of viewing area, and there's a bar there. And I ran into lots of problems with the end, because when you run LTX, it's fantastic. But if you're doing a pan type shot, the stuff at the end doesn't get much model time, and so you get some very iffy things going on. Sizes go wrong. It couldn't fix this, but this was with LTX2, so I'll be interested to see what I run into with LTX 2.3. Again, Z Image was creating these, but I used I to V, so I based it on a inbound shot. There was actually a huge panoramic, and it ended up becoming a gym, and I thought, yeah, that'll work. What you notice here is there's massive problems with movement. So if you have fast movement, you get this blancmanging still, which, like I said, if you saw the video last time, that's now mostly fixed, but you still get it with anything that's fast moving. The solution to that is to go up to 50 frames per second or higher. That's how they've been solving it, but on a low VRAM card, you won't be doing that on a run. It will take you days. So I don't bother, I just get it as close as possible, run it through WAN, USDU, upscaler on a low denoise, helps some of it. It won't fix that much without changing things, and you get other problems if you go higher denoise. Anyway, the gym worked, and then we're on to the plant room, which I really liked. It just looks, you know, that's a shot, isn't it? It works. And this is all informing you about this space station, you know, like, you know, I guess you think that's people making the food, and then this particularly informs you because it's just everyday people. I mean, I couldn't be bothered to change this to a comic, but I really should. Everyday people, isn't it? And look, they're eating normal food. It's not space food. They've got a gas oven, it's like, and a microwave. But look, they're in space. It's like, I don't know. I like this idea. I'm quite happy going with it. I want to explore it further. So, and then of course, one thing I felt, actually the captain should be walking along here, and then it should cut, and then it should back to the captain, and then cut to this. So more captain walking, but I spent ages on this. Why? Because faces at distance are a massive problem still. And with LTX2, again, I haven't tested it with LTX 2.3, but I will be. And this I managed to solve in the end with a lot of time, but you can see his face structurally. I mean, that's incredible to have a structured face at that distance. If you followed my channel, the experience of trying to fix something like that with WAN was horrifying. You just couldn't do it. There was no fixing it on a low VRAM card. Now we can, and that really surprises me because I didn't think that was ever going to be solved. But it's not without a fight, and I have to do a lot of things to get there. So that'd have to be a video in itself, and then I cut it out rather than let his face become the wrong person. But you can see, trying to get my man from the back, I've actually got a completely different person, and it really shows. He's a lot younger, and you know, you have to do all the fixes like that in the edit, in the image edit, before you run it, and it's a big pain in the arse. And here he is again. It's not really the right guy. This is my commander that I haven't really worked on yet. I was going to have loads of guys, all the army guys in the room, and I had to take them all out because it was just too many people, and you can't change shots. So again, strategy. You have to work to strategy, and you'll see an arm appears here, stuff like that, and then how he sits down in the chair. Oh, he just kind of gets in the chair. Forget that arm. And then at this point, the dialogue would start. So that's where I've been running things up to, and that's the start of the episode I call Aftermath for the sci-fi I'm working on called 8. That'll do for today. Thanks for coming.